Hey guys, it's Nabil bringing you some news from the past, specifically 1992 when they were planning Samurai Shodown. Samurai Shodown, I'm talking of course about the first game that started this awesome series back in 1993. When they were working on the game in 1992, they of course, like any other game, they go through different iterations of characters, different designs, and up until now we didn't have a clue what were those early designs. But thanks to Twitter user O5Pro, which you can find a link to his Twitter page in the description, we have our first look at this crazy first early drafts of Samurai Shodown characters. Now the first one we have is Shalit, and she looks completely different, as in she's in full body armor. As you can see, you can barely see her face. So when they were designing Charlotte, they wanted her to be a knight, and I guess, you know, they played a little bit with the idea of having her in full body armor. Pretty cool. I'm happy they went with the final design that we have today because it's much better. The other one is, believe it or not, Earthquake. This is not Galford. I know you guys thinking this is Galford, but in the early design of Earthquake, he kind of looked like a beefed up or fat Galford. Really look at his hair and his costume. It's pretty much Galford. He has his cowboy boots for some reasons, and we know that Galford, you know, came from the US and they played a little bit with that ninja cowboy aspect. But they wanted Earthquake to be this beefed up ninja looking guy with this giant sai as a weapon. And you know, as you know, this changed later on to have two characters. So this character, you know, kind of like got split between into Galford and the Earthquake that we know and love, or maybe hate. The next one is Wonfu, and as you can see, there's not a lot of change compared to what the final design was, except for his weapon. As you can see, he did not have a giant sword in the beginning. He had this statue head that I don't know what he can do with it, to be honest. But they even had a design where he had this staff. He had a giant scar and you know, around, you know, going through his eye, kind of like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 3. But overall, it is still the same Wonfu, you know, like it was a little bit, he had like this shoulder, you know, pad or cover that he was wearing at some point. But looking at when they were doing his pixel art, you can see that it's pretty much the Wonfu that we got, except he now has a giant statue's head as a weapon. And then we have Amakusa, and as you can see, it's not a big of a change. They kind of knew what they want to go with Amakusa, you know, like at a design, one of the design, he looked a little bit more manly, I guess, you know, like brutish kind of thing. And then the other ones is he has that you know, androgynous features that Amakusa has in the game. We also have an early look at Kyoshiro, which was a bit of a mix between the Kyoshiro that we know and Genan. So it was kind of like a monster that actually plays kabuki, and he had a different weapon. He has a scythe as a weapon. They also then they started thinking about having him use wear a mask. But it's kind of strange. I'm happy that we ended up getting two characters instead of one. So we ended up having Genan and Kyoshiro, the kabuki dancer. And then we have an early look at Jubei, who was much younger and looked like a bit of Haomaru, really. And again, it's kind of strange that most of these designs ended up being two characters at the end. So this is kind of like Jubei mixed with Haomaru, as you can see, like more like muscular and younger Jubei. And then the other one is Tam Tam, who was like more freakish, who looked like more like a monster. Look at those shoulders and knees, you know, like bones almost like sticking out of his body, with giant feet. Weapon wise, it's kind of like the same that we ended up having in the first game, but his stance is also similar, but he became kind of like more human rather than being more like of a demon in this early design. And finally we have Nakuru, who she went through different iterations. Like she was a little bit older, as you can see, also showing more skin, and then they even had her like younger, for before deciding on the final design, which, as you can see here in the middle, is kind of similar to what we ended up having. And she did not have Mama Haha in the beginning, but then they decided to have pets, which was pretty cool. So all in all, this is a really rare look at the making of the first Samurai Shodown. I wish I had these designs when I was making the documentary, the History of Samurai Shodown documentary, but it's pretty awesome, pretty cool, and I've never seen this before. I don't know if you guys have seen them. I don't think so. These have not popped up online until recently. The other thing I want to talk about is also, again, from the 90s, specifically 1994, and this is a manga that was planned by the guys at Gamist, and they wanted Masami Kurumada. And if you don't know who that is, he's actually the mangaka behind the very popular Saint Seiya manga and anime. So during the 90s, they wanted him to do Samurai Shodown, a Shin Samurai Shodown, Shin Samurai Spirits manga, which is Samurai Shodown 2, and they started working on it. They had this early, like look, like Jubei, we can see here Genjuro, for example, Nakuru, and as you can see, look at Ukiyo here, completely different, but they have that style from, kind of like Saint Seiya, really. The Haomaru, Nakuru with Mama, looking pretty cool. They look a little bit different than what we know, of course, but I would have loved to see this manga happen. And look at Galford and Shalit. Now, unfortunately, it was cancelled before the first chapter was even released. But again, it's really cool to have this inside look at this really rare, form of media when it comes to these beloved series and beloved game like Samurai Shodown. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you for watching.